Space. It seems to go on and on forever. But then you get to the end and the gorilla starts throwing barrels at you. And that's how you play the game.
You stink, loser.
Hey, Fry, pizza going out. Come on!
I've waited 10 years as it is. There's a lot of good stuff coming out between now and November. I think my article was just published about like all the crazy games that are coming out in the next couple months.
Nice.
Yeah. So maybe I'll pick up, if it doesn't come out this in September, I'll pick up BioShock. But no, I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah. I was saying that it's still a rumor. Like, just take it with a grain of salt. But that grain of salt is getting bigger and bigger, and a little more believable every day.
Yeah.
But hopefully not, because I've been waiting to play it. Like, I have the mindset to play it next month.
For sure, I've been excited for it to come out, but I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
All right, let's go. It's Bitcast 16, right?
Yeah.
So I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. Do we give up on introducing ourselves, or is that good manners to do it?
Probably good manners.
All right. So I'm still Paul, editor-in-chief, and then Evan. Who are you?
I'm an editor as well.
Your titles changed a little bit.
It did. I'm the managing editor, if that's correct.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
And Laura?
I'm still Laura as well. I am also an editor.
Finally, for the first time, I think in like just about a year, right, Eric? Like it's been the last time you were on the show was episode 2, and that was just about last year.
Oh wow.
Hold on, I have an introduction for Eric. I got a clip for you.
Hello everyone. I'm back.
Yeah, the last one was the Metal Gear episode I was on.
Yeah. And you are, just to remind everybody listening, who are you?
I'm the owner of Big Cultures. I write whenever I'm on occasion and manage the website.
You are here, Eric, because you wrote the top 10, what?
Top 10 comic-based games.
Yeah, and I wrote that with you. Donovan wrote it with us as well, but
yeah.
Can't have too many people on the cast. But why did you want to write that top 10?
I mean, I'm really into comics. I mean, not as much anymore, but used to run a comic book store and saw a lot of the reference material. And some games did a good job, and some really didn't. So
that's how we met.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, I knew your brother before that, but.
Aww.
Yes. Yeah, you knew my brother in high school, and I'm trying to remember when I met you, because I think it was when you guys were at the smaller shop, right?
Yes.
I think Diego introduced me to you. I think that was when I was super depressed, and he was like, "Hey, I need a ride to like this comic book shop that just opened up," and I'm like, "Yeah, whatever, I don't care. I just I want something to do. Like I want to get out of the house, like depressed and whatever." And then I think that's when I met you, and then through you I met a bunch more people, and then that's how kind of things started.
Yeah.
Nice.
Aww.
But comic book video games. Let's bring up the list here, because I don't know as much about comic books. I know a lot about superheroes in general, but just I don't really read comics. But let's go over the list, and then after that we can talk about little game called No Man's Sky that just came out.
Yes, very exciting.
That now we've all played.
Yes.
I think Evan, you hadn't played it till just now.
Yeah, I pretty much stopped like an hour ago.
Yeah, me too.
Got it like an hour before that. Everybody had it, and then with Final Fantasy being possibly delayed, I needed something to fill my time.
Yeah, it's a good way to kill time.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll talk
that
about
now,
it later.
Yeah, I didn't think that you were gonna get it, but now we've all played it. So,
yeah.
but let's go over the top 10. The top 10 comic-based games. Number 10. I didn't write about this one,
This
but
was Donovan.
Eric, you might know a little bit more about this one.
I played a lot of this when I was younger. This was like an early launch Xbox game.
They have two
Hold
of these,
on,
right?
I'm forgetting my sound effects. Number 10. Okay, what's the name of number 10?
Marvel Ultimate Alliance, the original one specifically, not the remakes they did recently.
Yeah. It's not remakes, they're
They're
just
remasters, but they were bad
repackaging.
apparently,
Yep.
so we're not going to talk about those.
Why are they bad?
They're,
Oh, I think it was like the online was messed
the
up.
PC version was apparently trash. Like, they just didn't work. But yeah.
So what's up with this game?
So Marvel Ultimate Alliance was a beat 'em up game. Came out with basically a little after the launch of the 360, around when the PS3 came out, and we picked this one because it has such a huge cast, and there was so many characters, and like each character had a mini story mode where they would talk about their origin and go through and fight like their main bad guy if they were in the game. They had like characters like Blade too, which was pretty interesting because he's not really talked about as much as being in Marvel, even though he is a Marvel character.
Yeah, people forget that he is. No, I played it. I played it on the 360. That's where it first came out, right? On the 360.
I think so. Yeah.
Not the original Xbox.
Yeah.
I remember there was a cool they had a few trailers for the game for a few characters, and there was one specifically for Nightcrawler, who just happens to be my favorite X-Men, and also like one of my favorite superheroes in general. But that was pretty awesome. They had one for Wolverine, and yeah, the game was fun. I mean, I haven't played it since then. I don't have a lot to say about it. I don't know if Evan or Laura, you guys have played it at all.
There was a second one, right?
Yeah, the second
Yes.
one I never played, but it was the one where it had like attack fusions and everything.
Yeah, I had played the second one. I haven't played the first one, but it was pretty enjoyable. They're both pretty hard to find, aren't they?
I think the PS3 version is a little harder to find from what I've seen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They were like, weren't they like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like top-down RPG kind of like,
Yeah,
like
they were
Champions of Norath or something like that?
Yeah, like a Gauntlet style game, but with superheroes instead of like heroes and goblins and orcs.
Yeah.
It was basically a sequel to the X-Men Origins series on the Xbox and PlayStation 2 and GameCube.
Oh, nice.
I think they had two of those. Yeah, I had one and the first one, and then they had the Apocalypse sequel. And then they basically got out the third sequel, if you want to call it, was this, where they just said instead of X-Men, let's just put everybody from the Marvel universe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people.
Mighty number 9.
Alright, what's number 9, Eric?
That's the X-Men Arcade Edition. That's the original, like, go to a skating ring and play X-Men.
Oh, right, I wrote about this one.
Yeah.
So, I was a big proponent of this one. This was from Konami. This was an arcade game back when Konami kind of used to own the arcade scene. Mm-hmm. They made this one and the Simpsons arcade game, and the Ninja Turtles arcade game. Not the one we're going to talk about later, but the
Ninja
one of the
Turtles
first
arcade
ones in
was
arcade.
awesome.
Yeah. This one specifically, I remember one of the big things about it was that they had two arcade machines next to each other. So it was like, and then that made the screen kind of a widescreen format. It was really awesome. It's based on, I don't know if you guys ever watched Pride of the X-Men. It was a cartoon, late 80s. It's not the 90s X-Men cartoon.
I was born in the late 80s.
They basically took the pilot episode and then they based the game off of that. That's why Wolverine has like the brown color that you don't see it in any other like video game version, because that's what he looked like in the cartoon. But I have some clips. I got a lot of clips from this game, mainly because the voice acting was really bad.
Paul loves nothing better than that.
For.
There was voice acting?
That's like,
I don't even remember that.
There was voice acting. Yeah, it was terrible. Well, you might remember this one, actually. This is the thing that it's most known for. I don't know if you could hear that. It's kind of hard to hear. He says, "Welcome to die." That's Magneto. But that's not even the worst part. There's this.
X-Men! X-Men! Magneto is planning to attack Earth from his asteroid base. You must foil his plan before it's too late. Go after the giant sentinel. X-Men, nice job. Magneto is over there. Follow me.
There's a twist.
Aha! You fell into our trap.
That was Mystique, actually. And then,
Alas, that was Mystique, not Magneto. Magneto is in another place. Go, X-Men. I am Magneto, master of magnet.
so it's stuff like that. It's really bad, and they talk a lot, actually. Eric, you didn't know that there was voice acting?
No, all I remember about this, we actually had the arcade cabinet in the comic store when we opened, and no one played it, so it would always play the opening song, like on repeat. So that's why I put the arcade intro in the top 10, was because that's stuck in my brain right now for anything related to this game.
Wait, you had this at Heroes?
Yeah, it died like after a month, but yeah.
I wasn't there when I met you. There was no X-Men arcade.
Yeah,
that sucks.
We sold it. But yeah.
So alright, so I found this clip because you guys haven't watched the cartoon that I'm talking about.
I don't think so.
There's like a funny thing that I wanted to go over, but so I found the first pilot episode of the cartoon on YouTube. But there's a thing at the beginning which I want to play first. I had no intention to play this, but it's kind of relating to what's going on right now in politics. There's an election, and this is a Marvel character telling you about your right to vote and why it's so important. And there was a lot of these PSAs in the 80s and 90s. But I'll just play it and see if you guys can guess who it is, because he doesn't say who it is until the end. But it's so stupid. It's so stupid, but listen.
If you think superheroes like me can fight all your battles for you, think again. Voting for your local, state, and federal representative lets you choose who's on your side and all the issues we face today. From the little ones to the really big ones, too. But before you can vote, you need to register. So do it now. For registration forms or information on how to register, visit your local participating video store. Have a voice in your future. Register. And vote. And tell them Spider-Man sent you.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man.
Really?
Spider-Man.
That's bad.
Yes. It's really bad. And you couldn't see it, but like the guy dressed as Spider-Man, it's a real live action guy. He's like signing his registration form like as Spider-Man too. It's really bad.
What's your name, sir? Spider-Man.
That's not why I wanted to play this. This is the main reason I wanted to find this episode. Eric, you know a lot about comics. Where's Wolverine from?
I mean, it's been a while since I was in that. I mean, Wolverine's from Canada, right? Basically?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's from Canada. So, in this show, you tell me why Wolverine sounds like this.
We've got to stop it. Hold it! The kid stays here. She'll just get in the way.
I will not. And stop calling.
Did you hear that? That was Wolverine.
That was Wolverine.
That was Wolverine with like a super, that was an Australian accent, right?
That's British.
I guess.
Like, I'll just play it again because it's really bad.
Hold it! The kid stays here. She'll just get in the way.
I will not. And stop calling me a...
Yeah, I'm not sure like what happened there or if they did any research, but they gave him just that super Australian accent, and then there's this last one, and then we can move on from
Okay.
this entry. There's I just wanted to play all this stuff, but it's just way too much to go over. Let's hear.
Well, Wolverine, you were against Kitty being a member of the team. What do you think now?
So the kid got lucky. That don't make her an X-Man. Not yet.
Alright, we can move on from number 9, but I just love that. I love that it's Wolverine with an Australian accent.
No, I think that's Irish or Scottish.
It sounded,
Yeah,
somewhere
probably.
around there.
Yeah, that's not Canada.
Not anywhere close to a Canadian accent. But alright, that's enough. That's enough for number 9. So let's go to number. All right, Eric, this is all you.
Number 8 is The Wolf Among Us, and did anyone else here play it?
No, but
I'm
I
currently playing
edited
it.
all of Peter's reviews, so I got the full spoilers.
Yeah. So
Okay, wait, I'm still playing it, so...
I won't talk about the spoilers, but the game itself, like reading the Fables comics, this game did an amazing job capturing the universe. Basically, to sum it up, it's fairy tale characters in the real world. Basically, they're trapped in New York. The ones that can look like humans live there, and they have spells to disguise them, and they talk about all this through the game. There's this huge, like old school police story going on with the main character, who's the big bad wolf, and it's one of Telltale's probably best games, and it gets somewhat overlooked because of the content itself. A lot of people aren't familiar with the comic books and may have brushed it off, but it's definitely one of their best in my opinion, and the story is very good, and it leaves itself in the beginning of the story for the comics, so it's able to do whatever it wants, basically.
Nice.
Awesome.
It did look really awesome.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know much about them.
I just had issues with their second season of The Walking Dead not working on my Vita, so I don't think I've played another Telltale game since.
Okay.
Well, they're notorious for technical.
Well, like, does it have a lot to do with like those kind of tales, like the like the wolf and like Red Riding Hood and stuff like that?
Yes and no. So, like, they talk about the fairy tales, but they're based more off of their original origins.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not the Disney versions of like Snow White.
Yeah.
There's they're a little darker.
Yeah.
One of the characters
That's
in
what
the
I care
game
about.
is based off of basically a girl that wears the skin of a donkey. So, like, I don't remember that fairy tale as a kid, but it is a real fairy tale.
Yeah.
It's a really dark
That's not
fairy
a Disney
tale.
movie.
Should be though. That'd be a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to numbers. Oh, God damn it! I keep forgetting to play these. But number. Okay, I'm sorry. What's number 7?
Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played the game. I watched the movie, but I haven't read the comics. So what I know is based on things based on the comics. But the game, as far as I know, is pretty faithful to the comics.
Good.
It was just a straight up, 2D side scroller beat 'em up. But I think the best part about the game was the soundtrack, right, Eric? I think it was
It was Anamanaguchi.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
They did the soundtrack, which was really, really my favorite part about the whole thing. Yeah, I don't have anything else really to say about that because I haven't played the comics, so I don't know how faithful to the comics the game is.
Well, from my understanding, the movie, the game, and the books each have their own separate storyline, but they're all based off of the comics themselves. And the art style for the game is almost directly based off of Brian Lee O'Malley's original art style, which is pretty awesome that they were able to do that. I believe when the game came out too, they also started putting out the comics in color, which was never a thing. He always did the covers only, and everything was black and white.
Mm-hmm.
And they used a lot of the art probably to reference for the color versions.
Can we move on to number 6, or does anyone have anything else to say about 7?
Nope.
Number 6. So that's TMNT. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 4, Turtles in Time. Forgot why they called it 4. Aaron, why do they call it 4?
Because there were. Let's see. This one was. Well, this was for the Super Nintendo. There was at least one. I think there were 2 on the regular Nintendo, and then maybe an arcade one.
Well, let's see. This was an arcade first. I know that, and then they brought it to the Super Nintendo.
Right, but there were at least 2 before this that were on the regular Nintendo.
There was the original. Then there was Turtles in Manhattan on the NES. Then there was the arcade, the first Ninja Turtles in arcade.
Yeah.
So I guess that would be 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I think that's how it worked.
So, but this game's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome. Was this one that was also on the Genesis?
I don't think it was in Genesis. I don't remember.
Because one of the Genesis ones was awesome too.
Yeah, I only played it on the Super Nintendo. They re-released this. They remade it on the 360 and PlayStation, but that one just was not as good.
No.
So don't play that. Like, play the original Turtles in Time.
I mean, it's just your pretty standard side-scrolling action game, but I don't know. As a kid growing up in the 90s, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is where it's at.
But I can't think of a better beat 'em up, like a side-scrolling beat 'em up.
It was pretty standard, it's just like Streets of Rage and all those other side-scrollers, but it was a Turtles. I think it was cool because most of those games, all the characters had very similar attack styles, but in the Turtles you had 4 characters with unique weapons, unique fighting styles. So it was a little bit different than all the other side-scrollers. The gameplay was pretty similar, but the characters were different. I don't know, and the levels were all pretty different from each other also, which kept it interesting. And they were tough. All the side-scrollers in arcade games were tough, but
yeah,
I remembered always having troubles playing these ones as a kid.
Who was your main guy, your main turtle?
Michelangelo, man.
Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eric, who's your favorite?
I think mine was Donatello.
All right. And Laura, do you have a favorite turtle?
Oh my gosh. I like Michelangelo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's like 3 Michelangelos, 1 Donatello.
It's like the first Donatello I think I've ever heard.
The replayability is so crazy too. Like this game, you can easily come back to every day. So the clip that I wanted to play before we can move on, it has nothing to do with the game or any of the movies. But like I said, there were a lot of PSAs in the 80s and 90s, and they took a lot of like cartoon and video game characters to give messages to the kids. So here's one from the Ninja Turtles, which I think it's hilarious.
Hey, Joey. I got some stuff you just gotta try. What is it? Pot. Marijuana. Oh, well, I don't know. What? Chicken? Joey's in a jam. What should he do? Cake. Get a pizza. Excellent. Get a pizza. Get real. You got it. Let's see if Joey's that smart. I'm not chicken. You're a turkey. He's right. Drug dealers are dorks. Don't even talk to him. Cowabunga!
And then like YouTube wants me to watch the Pee Wee Herman one after that.
Oh, that's a good.
But let's move on. Number 5, right? We're at number 5.
Number 5, yeah.
So
hold on. All right, okay, what's number 5?
Incredible Hulk: Ultimate Destruction.
Okay, I don't think anybody else here has played this by me, right?
No, I never played it. I played the Ultimate Spider-Man, which is almost like the counterpart to this one, but never Hulk.
You all need to play this game. This game is so underrated. So what I wrote in the entry is that what was that?
That was nothing.
What I said I talked about the Avengers, the first Avengers, and the Hulk in the Avengers was like the main takeaway of that movie. That's what everybody was talking about. He was probably the best part, because when you let the Hulk just kind of be himself and just kind of let loose and do whatever he wants, that's what makes the Hulk the Hulk. So this game basically understood that, and they took it's an open world game where you play as the Hulk, and you can just kind of do whatever you want. Everything's destructible.
That's awesome.
You can pick up cars and wear them like boxing gloves.
That's amazing.
Like that, that raises your attack, and then you can climb on all buildings. You can just jump super high, and it's just like a lot of fun. And it's a shame because nobody really knows about this game.
Yeah.
Nobody ever talks about it, but if you have, I think it was on all like consoles at the time, on PS2 and GameCube and the original Xbox. But Ultimate Destruction. It's super fun, like really, really underrated. And yeah, that's really about it. I hope it gets re-released on PS4 soon because I've played the hell out of it.
I mean, who wouldn't want to run around a city and destroy stuff as the Hulk? That sounds awesome.
It's so much fun. It's so much fun. All right, let's move on to number 4. All right, Evan, what's number 4?
Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3.
Yeah,
The only fighter game I was good at.
Really? You were good at this one?
I was actually pretty decent at this one.
Who did you use?
Let's see. I would use Captain America, Zero. Who else did I use? Maybe Dante? I might have used Dante. It's been a while since I played.
The reason, I think we had like a little bit of a discussion as to whether it had this or Marvel 2, Eric, but I think I think I convinced you guys to go with this one instead, because as far as like a Marvel game, I think this might be the best one that's ever been made. I mean, there's I think one more next on the list, but
with this one,
go ahead.
it was definitely more Marvel than 2 was. 2 was more of like it still had some style, but it was basically just a fighting game. Well, this one, there's like more character, like hints and Easter eggs. There's voice acting. There was just so much put into like the style and the look of this game to make it look more like a comic book game that I ended up agreeing with you on that one.
Yeah, a lot of the interactions that the characters have, that's probably one of the best parts of the game. It took a lot of time to please comic book fans and also, Capcom fans. Like you have, if you have Captain America on one team and then you have Iron Man on the other team, like they have a little, like before the match starts, they have a little like argument about like Civil War, like how this is, this time I'm gonna win or something.
That's awesome.
Or like it depends on who gets matched up, and it's really cool. So I got a couple of these, like some of the best ones that I found online. Some like the character interactions at the beginning.
By the way, I was just gonna say I used Deadpool, not Dante.
Deadpool is the best part about of this game too. He like they put so much work into him because Deadpool. I think they knew that he works as a video game character. So he can talk about anyone in the game, and he can say anything about like anyone. He can talk about Capcom characters like he's known them.
Oh my god.
So here's like some of the best interactions that I found online.
You think I'm going down to some pampered punk like you?
This armor knows your next move before you do, Steve.
Hey, I freaking love Street Fighter. Autograph your spleen?
Don't worry. I'll stick to the mission.
So, you doing anything after this?
Better leave while I can still keep
Hold on, let's stop on that one, because that's Iron Man. Iron Man, and he's flirting with Phoenix, right? Jean Grey. So he says, you doing anything after this? I found out, I didn't know this, he says that about all the females. Mainly, like, most of the females in the game. Including Tron Bonne, which, who I think, I'm pretty sure she's 14 years old. But he still says it.
A little creepy.
I'm gonna research that now.
Yeah, go look up Tron Bonne, but she's 14. This one is cool. This is Chris from Resident Evil.
Yeah, 14. That's wrong.
That's wrong.
To fighting zombies. This time we ain't ending in a draw. I'll break your claws this time.
I just beat Matt freaking Nito. Where your curly mustache at?
That's a pretty big nod to the Marvel 2 fans. And the last one that I wanted to play is, this goes back to the entry that we talked about at number 9. Remember this one? and then
Magneto, welcome to die. Why they call me the master.
So that's Deadpool. Like Deadpool making fun of the X-Men arcade game,
That's
which is like, who
hilarious.
thought of that? Like who in the development team was like, smart enough to just put that in there, and then like somebody had to think of it, somebody had to like write it down as one of the lines, and then they had to get Nolan North.
That's amazing.
I love it. Like I love all of that. That's like so many callbacks.
That is good.
But yeah, this game it's really awesome. I can understand people like being disappointed that we picked this over 2, but I think we made a pretty good point that this is just a better game in general. 2 is more of it's just more known, I guess, in the fighting community. But I think at this point 3 is kind of, I don't know, it's still going strong in the fighting community. And it's been like how many years since it came out? Like 5.
It's been a while, yeah. In 2011, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's still holding up. They're still played. I mean, Eric, you went to CEO, and there's still it's still a pretty big event.
There was a lot of people there, and unfortunately, that game I don't think has been updated since it came out. So there's tons of workarounds in the game for infinite combos. So basically, the fighting community adapted, and now it's basically just whoever can manage their combos the fastest wins.
Yeah, the combos in that game are ridiculous. Like you start hitting somebody, and if you know what you're doing, like you'll just straight up kill them, because he can just have a combo last their entire health until they're dead. I'm not sure if there's gonna be a Marvel 4, because I don't know what
probably not
the legal. Now that Disney and Marvel aren't working and Capcom aren't working together anymore, I don't know what the legalities are.
Well, with Disney now no longer making their own games, there might be a chance again, but that's, I think, the only thread holding the 4 coming together.
Yeah, it's back. I know that when this game was announced, it was a pretty big surprise, because there was that whole deal going on in between 2 and 3 where Disney was working with other developers to make their games. And then Disney, they purchased Marvel, and then there's just a lot of issues. So Marvel 4 is probably not going to happen for a long time. All right, let's move on to number. Okay, this was Eric's big thing.
I fought for this game on this list every round.
I didn't think it should. Yeah, I didn't think it should be that high, but I think you made a pretty good point.
So
to put it that high.
The reason that Spider-Man from the 2000 release for the PS1 was held so high is just because of the amount of comic content in the game. So most superhero games, especially back then, were pretty bad. I mean, this is around when Superman 64 came out. But this was developed by Neversoft, which is the company that made Tony Hawk. And the 90s to 2000s was their holy grail of game development. So when this game came out, they focused heavily on the cartoon series that had stopped airing just around then. I don't know if you guys ever watched the animated Spider-Man show.
I think so, yeah.
So they brought in probably about half of the voice actors from that show to reprise their characters, including Spider-Man.
Nice.
And
I didn't know that.
The amount of characters that are in it is pretty crazy for a short PS1 game. You've got Jonah Jameson, you've got Doc Ock, Venom, Black Cat, Daredevil, Captain America, Scorpion, Human Torch, Carnage, Mysterio, and Punisher, and there are several more that I didn't reference in my write-up. The amount, and they're all tied to the story too, or in some kind of cameo. And games that now would bring in that many characters would have them as DLC bosses or little throwaways. But this one was very akin to older Spider-Man comics, and the cartoon itself, where the bad guys were all working together to kind of trick Spider-Man and beat him, and he had a lot of help from other characters from other comics like the Human Torch and Captain America. So just the fact that they spent so much time crafting these characters and building a world that, despite the graphical limitations of the system, was very comic feeling. It was pretty awesome to play that game, and there's a ton of costumes that they had in the game that were all taken out of the comics. There was the version of Spider-Man wearing a paper bag on his head from when he threw out his costume and needed to get it back in the comics. So it's just, there's so much content in it. I had to fight for this game to be on the list.
Yeah, I forgot how much fun I had playing this. And it's like, it's legitimately funny. And like not a lot of games are. I don't know, Evan, did you ever play this back then?
I did not.
No.
No,
I've
I
never
I didn't either, but I did play. I played the PS2, one of the PS2 ones. I think it was like the first
I think
movie
that was like,
or whatever that just turned into a game.
Yeah, I know the Spider-Man 2, the video game, based on the movie. The second movie was really good too. Like that's also a really good.
Yeah, I liked it
a
as
really
a
good
kid.
choice. And
They were fun.
there's Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man was really good as well, and that's one that I would have recommended. But I forgot about how much fun this was. And the clip, I have 2 clips. I had one picked out, and then Eric sent me another one to play. I'll play Eric yours first. It's Spider-Man and a bunch of Marvel heroes playing poker.
Which is actually pretty much ripped from the comics, because that was like their thing, was they would meet once in a while and have a poker game, and you would get like funny interactions from all these characters from different comics.
Oh yeah.
Punisher, do you have any threes? Go fish. So nice of you to join us for once, Spidey.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was out saving the world. Beating you guys at cards ought to be pretty easy.
Your spider sense won't save you here. Look who's talking, Daredevil. You've been looking at my cards all night. I don't need to look at your cards, Punisher. Your bluffs are so obvious.
Okay. Let's keep this a nice, friendly, clean game.
That's Captain America, of course.
Fighting this guy.
Hey, will you guys keep it down?
Hey, listen up, kids. I'm on fire.
And that was the Human Torch, who just said that. And then Eric, this was my favorite part of the game, because I loved how stupid they made Venom look and sound.
Yeah.
Now, the imposter was a shapeshifter. So that means it was either Mysterio or the Chameleon.
Hey, Chameleon was our idea. We thought of that.
Tell me this, Einstein. Who could have wanted to steal Octavius' technology?
Ooh, we know.
Who?
The Submariner.
Submariner? Get serious, will you?
The mighty Thor.
Are you out of your mind? Don't answer that.
Galactus.
Forget it, Eddie. I need Jameson's help on this. We're going to the Bugle.
Jameson. We hate Jameson.
You bonehead. We're not going to see Jameson. We're going to use his computer database.
Ooh, are we gonna surf the web?
Let's just go.
I love that. Let's go to number 2. Damn it, I keep forgetting. Okay, number... Eric, what's this one?
This is the Walking Dead, the game. This is we chose the original one because it was just a better story overall, better experience. So I'm guessing Evan played this since he started the second season.
I did. I played fully through this one. I liked it.
It came out of nowhere too, because Telltale was not known for making like
I think
Game of the Year.
Before this, it was like Back to the Future and Sam and Max.
Jurassic Park.
Yeah. And those were both.
They were pretty mediocre.
Yeah, they didn't get great reviews.
What I think what made this one stand out was the story.
Pretty much, you take control of a guy named Lee, and he's a criminal. You start off in a police car, and then there's more or less an accident, and you end up saving this little girl named Clementine. Well, actually, technically, she kind of saves you too. But for the course of the game, which is 5 episodes, you travel with Clementine and a group of people, and allegedly the choices you make through the game affect the outcome. But the last episode's pretty depressing, regardless of your choices.
I think this was on the heartbreaking.
It was.
Yeah, it was. It's not a happy ending, but it was a really good story. Even though the choices didn't really truly make too much of a difference. I know, like at the end of I don't remember if it was the end of every chapter or if it was the end of the game. I think it was the end of every chapter. It would tell you who was left alive and who had died.
Yeah,
but I
it
mean,
would give you like the little stats of who chose what, basically.
Right. But like I remember resetting the game like 5 times trying to save one person, and I don't think they were savable. Period.
Yeah, it was a lot of smoke and mirrors for the actual choices. Like you basically would choose which of these 2 characters would die later on and which one would die now.
Oh my god.
You couldn't really save many of the cast itself.
Right.
Yeah. The story itself was great, though.
Yeah, the story was good. It was still an enjoyable game regardless of the decisions you made.
I forgot, but does this take place in the same universe as the Walking Dead comics or the TV show?
So what they did was they never like officially say that it's comic like canon, but they have comic characters show up. So in the first episode, Glenn shows up, and so does
Herschel or whatever his name is. Yeah.
So there's a crossover, but I think after the success of the first couple episodes, they start kind of tweaking it to be its own story and complete its own thing. Because towards the second season, they start going in a completely different route than any of the characters from the comics. So it was a pretty unique story, and definitely the stars were Lee and Clementine and their relationship, which you don't get that kind of elaboration on like a adult-child relationship in games. Like there's always there's games that have done it, but nothing as heartbreaking and emotional as this.
Yeah, go read the top 10 heartbreaking games, and there's more about it there. Okay, should we move on to number 1 and then finish off segment 1?
Sure.
We're ready.
Yeah. There's also
Number 1.
There's also what?
The honorable mention.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get to that after number 1. I forgot there was an honorable mention, but before that, or should we talk about that before we talk about number 1?
Let's do 1, because there was a couple of games I wanted to mention just on the side after as well.
Alright, so number 1 was, I wrote about this one, it's Arkham City. I think it's a pretty easy pick for number 1. I think we were all pretty fast on putting this up there. And then choosing the rest of the list. So we went with Arkham City instead of Arkham Asylum because it's an equally good game. It's just it has more of it. Now, what made Arkham Asylum so good was that I think up to this point, video game based on comic books or superheroes, I guess. Amazing, I guess. Like, they were known for being mediocre at best. Even all the games that we've had up to this point, they were not, up to this level. And then Arkham Asylum came out, and then I think it was Rocksteady who developed it. Like, they really got the sense of being Batman right. They used his detective skills. There's like a whole, like, half of the game is just using that. The fighting mechanics, the battle system is amazing. Probably one of the best that I've ever seen. Like, it's really cool to combo from one enemy to another. It's like it's so much fun. The villains are all there. They brought the voice actors from the cartoon, which I think most people agree.
For some of the characters, they did for the Batman and Joker mainly.
Which I think most people agree that that's still like the best representation of Batman in pop culture outside of the comic books, like the Batman cartoon from the.
It's the Bruce Timm one. Yeah, it's definitely up there in quality, and like everyone judges any movie version of Batman and Joker off of those basically at this point.
What's the name of the guy who voices Batman? I know Mark Hamill does the Joker. Kevin Conroy, yeah. I knew, I think, like months before the game was released, when they announced that they brought Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill to do the voices, that this was going to be something big. something, it's just like not mundane, because there's been Batman games and Spider-Man and Superman games before, but like I don't think anybody expected it to be like this good.
And when it came to this game, just with the story as well, they spent a lot of time, like with the Spider-Man game I mentioned, they spent a lot of time in this one on building these characters and making them fit into the universe. It's pretty hard to picture, giant wrestler turned monster by steroids and a giant crocodile human being mainstays in a game, but the Rocksteady team did an amazing job fitting it in.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that, I think I wrote this a little while ago, but I'm hoping that the new Spider-Man game that's being developed for the PS4, there's a code name, Spider-Man PS4, developed by Insomniac, right?
Yeah.
I said I hope that they do for Spider-Man games what Rocksteady did for Batman games. Because the PS1 Spider-Man was good. It was really good. But I think we want something phenomenal, something that really makes you feel like
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Like, we want something outstanding. And that's my favorite superhero, so I can't wait for that. And I hope that they, knock it out of the park. And watching and playing, what was the game they put out on Xbox One? Insomniac.
Sunset Overdrive?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. That game is like it's like them testing out the waters before they try to make the Spider-Man game. Because that game kind of feels like it. Like, you swing around and you
do
you
a bunch
slide
of
all over the
crazy.
place.
Yeah.
So that gives you hope that they know what they're doing. So, all right, what was the honorable mention, Eric?
The honorable mention was The Darkness, which I actually did not play, but I've just read and heard so much about the game series being very faithful to the comic books themselves.
They're very good games. They're both very different when you put the two of them together, like when you compare them next to each other. The gameplay in the second one was much improved. I think you could quadruple wield your weapons in the second one, because you have the little demon arms that follow you around. But it was really good. And the first one had some really awesome acting in it too. But it was a really cinematic experience. The second one was cel shaded, so it looked just like a comic book too. The first one was more gritty, but they're both, in my opinion, they're both really good.
Was the second one not as good as the first?
Yeah, it didn't receive as good of reviews. I really liked it, but it was like 4 hours long, and the co-op that they added to it wasn't any longer. It was like an extra maybe 2 hours. But it was fun. It was good. The second one was just really short.
Yeah, and there was a couple other games that could have made it on this list. And you mentioned how you're hoping this Spider-Man game coming out will be like Batman for Marvel.
Yeah.
They tried to do that a while ago with a game called Shattered Dimensions. They had the Spider-Man Noir, I'm pronouncing that wrong probably, but it was like a steampunk...
Noir?
Yeah, there was a steampunk Spider-Man, and he would hide in the shadows and grab people. They basically ripped off Batman's combat style, but the game was okay. It wasn't great.
Yeah.
That game had Spider-Pig in it, though, or Spider-Ham, which was good.
I was reading about Spider-Ham not too long ago. I didn't even know that was a thing. What other games were we looking at putting on the list that got cut out?
I mean, there's been a ton of Spider-Man games. We cut Ultimate Spider-Man, which we mentioned a few times. We cut 13, which I played a little bit of. I don't know if Evan maybe tried that. Shooter a while ago. It was a cel-shaded. Basically,
Say that?
13. It was.
Oh no, I didn't get a chance to play that one.
Roman numerals. Like, you would shoot someone and like the bang effect would pop up when you hit them, and like.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
I can't really recall too much else from that list because there wasn't a lot of great comic book games like we've talked about.
Yeah. It was going to be Arkham City and then 9 more. Basically, we were just gonna organize those 9 in any order. But all right, let's move on. Let's take a break because I have to use the bathroom again, and we're gonna talk about new releases, Robin Williams, or I gotta talk about it, and No Man's Sky, which we've all played. So let's. I don't know, Eric. Can you think of a song to take us on break? Is there maybe we can use that Spider-Man song from PS1 because that was a cool theme.
Yeah, we could do Spider-Man. Spider-Man or the Wolf Among Us soundtrack was very good.
Ooh.
All right, pick one to take us on break.
Wolf Among Us.
Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. What's up, everybody? It's Paul again. I hope you're enjoying the show, as usual. Now, if you're listening to this and you haven't been to bitcultures.com, well, what are you doing? What are you doing? That's our website. We post articles every single day. The top 10s that we talk about on every episode, we post those every Tuesday. Yeah, every Tuesday there's a top 10 on our website. Top 10 comic book games, top 10 cats and video games, top 10 whatever you want to think about. We've probably done a top 10 about it. And there's reviews, news, features, podcasts like this one, video shows. I don't think there's anything we don't do. So bitcultures.com. And as far as the podcast goes, if you're listening to this on iTunes, please give us a 5-star rating and subscribe. Anything below a 5-star rating is not allowed, so just be aware of that. And if you're listening on podbean.com, also follow us and find us on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. God, just Google BitCultures. That's bitcultures.com. Follow us, tell your friends, tell the kids. Yeah, that's really about it. Now, back to the show. The reason I wanted to talk about Robin Williams, first and foremost, he was a pretty big gamer. A lot of people don't know that because he named his daughter Zelda, right?
Yep.
So I don't want to spend too much time on this. This is like, I didn't mean for this to be any part of this podcast or segment 2.
Okay.
But I just forgot about it, and like, where else am I going to talk about him in any other format? So, Evan brought up a good point when he passed away. I think we were all shocked because we assumed he was just gonna, not die anytime soon. He was just gonna be there, and we kind of took him for granted because we hadn't heard of him in a long time. He hadn't made any movies in a while, or maybe like not anything big.
Right, and his TV show failed.
Yeah, I think he was like in one of the Night at the Museum movies. Like,
he was in both of them. I think that was his last one.
He was Theodore Roosevelt, I think.
That was his last movie, was it not? The third one?
It could have been, yeah.
Like, you would see him here and there, but like, you just kind of forgot about him. So he died, and then it's like, I don't know about you guys, but I grew up watching him and like laughing with him. He was a big part of my childhood. A lot of his movies were. So it felt like somebody that I knew passed away. So it just didn't really make sense that he was dead. And then you find out about how he died.
Yeah.
And it's like, why would somebody like that do that? Because you see him, whenever you saw him, he was always laughing and always happy. It's like, if he can't make it, like he committed suicide, for those who don't know. It's like, wow, like, they're hurt a lot. Like, that gives me, like, no hope. But, Evan, you said that you you had a story about him, or you had something that you had mentioned in the comments about Robin Williams. Oh, music, a song that you wrote about him.
Yeah.
Aw.
So what's that about?
Oh well, that's kind of personal, but
Oh, okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It was just kind of about what you said. You know, he was kind of what you said about there being no hope, except from my perspective, it was more of a song like, you know, he won't be forgotten. Like, it's just that important, that impactful on my life in particular, and so many others. You know, just kind of like a little letter of thank you for you know all the good things that, you know, he had inadvertently done for myself and many others. Unfortunately, it hadn't gotten recorded yet, but at some point I would like to do that.
That'd be awesome.
Laura, are you crying over there?
No, maybe a little. No, there's actually, when we found out, he you know how Mrs. Doubtfire was in San Francisco, the house is out here. It was really sweet, actually. There were like hundreds of messages outside on the sidewalk, like written in Sharpie for Robin Williams, all in front of this house. And like a family lives there now too, which is like really sad. But like it sucks for the family, but like it was really sweet. My roommates and I walked over there and kind of like paid our respects, being like, "Thanks, Robin, for everything you've done for us," you know.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember, but I'm pretty sure when he passed away, when we all found out, I think we watched the Birdcage. I think Eric, you were there because Daria and I wanted to watch a movie after he passed away.
Yeah, we
watched
Birdcage.
Yeah,
it was on.
Yeah, you
Netflix.
were there.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the like the least talked about movie, like Robin Williams movie. But
yeah, it was a pretty indie movie, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was maybe, but there's like some pretty big names.
It's got Nathan. Oh God, what's his name?
Nathan Lane.
Yeah, Nathan Lane. Oh my God, they were so good in that movie together.
Gene Hackman is in the movie.
Yep.
But again, I don't want to spend too much time on it. It's just because he was a big video game guy. Like anytime whenever I used to watch E3 on G4, he was just walking around, and they were like, "Oh, there's Robin Williams. Let's interview him."
Well, you know, not to interrupt, but I can't remember if it was for the 3DS or if it was for one of the Zelda games for the 3DS. But Nintendo interviewed him as like part of one of their advertisements for.
Yeah, it was for Ocarina of Time for 3DS. That was like one of the not launch games, but one of the early ones.
Yeah.
And that's good
That's good that you brought that up because I have two clips. One that's kind of sad and one that's not. That's the first one. That's him talking about why he named his daughter Zelda.
Hi, I'm Robin Williams. This is my daughter Zelda Ray Williams.
Hi, I'm Zelda Williams.
Zelda, this story about you.
Yeah.
What a great name for a girl, Zelda.
From what I've been told, they were playing Zelda when my mom was pregnant with me.
Who thought, because we were playing the game Legend of Zelda at the time, I bought one of the first Nintendo systems and brought that home with a very large TV and set it up where it was Zelda, and it was amazing because it was just, it's addicting. I was playing it for hours and hours and hours and hours.
And I think both my parents really liked the name, and so it stuck.
A lot of people come up and say, is she named after F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife? No. It's Zelda for the Legend of Zelda.
Where I was in grade school and girls made fun of me for it. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to change my name when I'm 18. And then I ended up loving it again. And it's constantly, people are like, that is the coolest name ever.
So that's just one.
The commercial was very well done, if you remember that. It was just well made with the music and the very like close shot of Robin with his manly beard back then.
Yeah, where he's talking about the game, and he's talking about her, and she's like, "Are you talking about the game again?" or something like that. But watch that commercial. It's really well done.
Yeah. And
this is part of that. This is behind the scenes of that. And the last one that I want to play is this one where he was on Jimmy Fallon, I think.
Big gamer, huge. You're a big video gamer. Oh, I've been playing it for a while. I mean, and I always play like Call of Duty. Yeah. Veterans of Foreign Video Wars. It's always weird too when you play online and you get owned by a 10-year-old. Like, you're my bitch. Hey, old man, I own your ass. How old are you? This many. I'm amazed you can see that on film. But you know, playing online is a thing, and it's always weird when you play after like 10 o'clock at night. There's people playing from other countries, and one night there was a guy playing, I think a young Frenchman going, "Does anyone here speak French?" And I went, "Je parle français." He went, "Could you please help me?" And I felt like we were doing, you know, Private Ryan. I was going, "Stay with me, I'll protect you." Where do we go? Behind that wall. Stay down here. Are there others? There's one more. Stay right here. Stay here. And then the little kid going, "I own the frog." Shut up.
So it goes on for a while. I couldn't find it on YouTube. I know I watched this when it happened at the time. It's called Robin Williams Talks About Getting Owned in Call of Duty. He was on Jimmy Fallon. It's not on YouTube, so you gotta find it, Google it to find it. But yeah, that's all I have. That's all I wanted to talk about. No more Robin Williams talk. But Evan, new releases?
Yeah. As I said before we started recording, there aren't a ton of big ones this week. But the biggest release that's coming out, at least from my perspective, is Metroid Prime Federation Force for the 3DS.
All the chibi looking,
F1 2016 racing, Formula Racing, comes out on the 19th. So does Metroid Prime. This really interesting looking game called Style Savvy Fashion Forward comes out on the 19th for the 3DS. Nice. And then, as far as I can tell, there's a couple indie digital games. Bound, I think, is one of them. It's coming out. It looks interesting. It was made by the same people who, if anybody remembers, I think it was called like Lingering in the Shadows.
Lingering in Shadows. That's like the one where you like move through like paintings of like.
Yeah, it was pretty much like a moving piece of visual art. It wasn't really a game. It was really interesting, but this is supposed to be a game. It's like a woman, and you go through her memories, and I think you're like she was a dancer. It was kind of like a platformer. It looks really interesting. That comes out, and then not on the website that I found. Let's see. Hitman Episode 4 is supposed to come out. Episode 4 Thailand. There's a game called Grow Up coming out. And then the one for me in particular that I'm kind of excited about is Among the Sleep is coming out on disc tomorrow for the PS4. I think just the PS4. Yeah. It's a first-person horror game. You play as a child, like a 1-year-old or 2-year-old, and this talking Teddy guides him through like this like messed up world. I never played it because it was digital only, and I don't do that. But this company called Sodesco that I wrote a feature about has really taken the reins of publishing indie-developed games on disc. And they've done, like, recently I just reviewed Nero, and before that they did Ziggurat. They've done some really questionable, they publish some really questionable games, but I give them credit for publishing all these indie games on disc. And they're really cheap, they're like $20. But that comes out on Tuesday.
Speaking of which, that reminds me, there was a game you reviewed.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name. It's a horror game. It's on PS4 now. Like, it just came out on PS4.
Layers of Fear?
No. Something with Emily.
Oh, Emily Wants to Play. Did that finally come out on the PS4?
It's on the PlayStation Network now.
God,
and I was looking at it.
Yeah.
Is it scary? Because it looks kind of scary.
So there's very little very little plot to it. You're a pizza delivery guy, and your last stop is at this house, and the door's open, and you go in and you're locked in, and like you get like a couple minutes to walk around and just look at things and find like lore pieces. And then on the little whiteboard in the kitchen, it says Emily wants to play at midnight. And so when I first saw this game, I was like, oh, well, my fiance at the time, it's Emily. So I was going to buy it. It was like $5 on the PC. So that game was scary because the jump scares in it were just, they were so, the only time we ever got scared was when you died. And they were so over the top and in your face that it was like, if you can't handle horror, then you would just like have like a breakdown, because it was like they would just jump in your face and like distort around. It was like if you take Five Nights at Freddy's, when they jump in your face, like that's just like brief. These were like, they're just like so, I don't know. It was so intense that I had trouble playing it, and I love horror games. I love being scared, and this was like, I don't know. It was almost like they pushed it to a point where they probably shouldn't. If you don't have like this, and it's not even like, it's nothing vicious, and it's not like, I don't think he meant to be like, in poor taste, but it's just done so, I don't know. Maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion. I want to get it for the PS4, so I might look into that tonight. But God,
I was surprised to see it. I was surprised because I've been wanting to play it for a while.
Yeah,
there's dolls like.
Yeah, there's
coming to life. It's like another
it's horrifying.
Like, another fear that I have.
Yeah, there are 3 different like stages, and it's all very like, you can beat it in like 30 minutes if you can beat it in 30 minutes, because each one of the 3 like dolls and Emily that you come across, they each have different, like the one you always have to keep the first doll in your line of sight. The second one, I think weren't supposed to look at it, but you had to leave yourself space, so because he charges straight at you, you had to like sidestep him. And then like Emily was, I think she was just lurking the corners, and then they built on top of each other. So like you just have the first doll, and then when the second doll came in, you had to keep the same strategy for the first doll while trying to navigate the second one, and like it just built on. And then when they would get in your face, just watch a video of it.
This sounds like a whole bunch of Nope.
It was very memorable.
Yeah. From what I've seen, like a thing that bugs me about movies with dolls coming to life is that you don't really see them. Like you see them like facing one way, and then the character kind of looks away, and then they turn around, and then you see the doll kind of looking like another way. Like that's as much as you'll see. But from what I've seen in the trailer, like you see a lot. Like you see the dolls like doing scary stuff.
Nope.
Like I don't know. I've been wanting to play it now that it's on PS4.
Yeah. How much? Do you know how much it is?
Oh, I forgot to see. I think it was like $15.
$15. Oh.
Yeah.
I really like it. I would not recommend it for $15. It's literally beatable in 30 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be on sale too.
Yeah, that's
eventually. All right. No Man's Sky.
Yes. So excited.
So, we've like been trying to talk about it and holding off on talking about it. So now we can finally talk about it. Eric, let's start with you. What's your experience so far with No Man's Sky?
Well, I'm probably around like 30 hours or so into the game. Lots of exploring. I'm on my 7th system.
Wow.
I think like 14th planet. I say that, but like a couple planets were like wherever you landed was where everything was. There was 4 plants on the planet, no creatures, and like it's funny because the planets that you know there's nothing on, they actually like group a lot of the landmarks together. So there's like 3 different bases and 1 landing point, and but I mean, I got lucky early on. I found this planet that spawned these items called vortex cubes, and if you've seen them, they're worth like roughly 25,000 credits.
Wow.
So I stayed there for like a whole day and farmed, and bought a really giant like freight ship.
Oh my god.
So my inventory went from like 12 to like 28.
That's amazing.
Yeah, well, it was actually really cool. That planet specifically gave me like the best feeling from this game. So I fly down to this planet. It's basically Hoth, like ice planet.
Nice.
There's not a lot of creatures besides like basically the creature from Where the Wild Things Are walking around. And I'm getting ready to leave, and there's a cave by the trading post. So I go into it, and I see that cube, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. And then I see like 5 more, and eventually realized that they just kept respawning in every cave on the planet. So each trip was netting like 300,000 credits.
Oh my gosh.
So I just kind of like hung out there for a while. But I just thought that was amazing because I've looked it up since then, and a couple of people have found planets like that. But to me, that's a pretty unique experience.
Yeah.
And I don't think I could get that with any other game.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, building off the unique experience thing, it was funny. My boyfriend and I were playing at the same time on 2 separate TVs, and the games looked completely different. Like it's truly a unique experience with the game, which is really awesome. It was like,
Are you both playing on PS4?
no, I have it on PC, and I just hooked up my PC to one of our TVs because we've got like
Nice.
3 of them.
Did your copy work out of the box? I mean, I saw a ton of people were having issues with PC on the day of launch.
Yeah, I had to turn down the graphics a lot just so it would run smoothly. And I know that's like a huge issue, and I think the Hello Games is working on it right now. But so far it's been like, I mean, I didn't want to have to do the graphics down lower, but it's been relatively smooth. So it runs around like 30 FPS.
That's solid.
Yeah. It's about around what the PS4 is at, I think.
Yeah, I have had no issue. I mean, I've only played for like an hour, but I've had no issues. I like it better than I thought I was going to like it. But I'm not sure that I'm going to like it overall. I like the exploring. I see myself getting really tired of it. I don't know. That might totally change. Like, ask me a week from now, and I will give you a better perspective because I've only played for an hour, and it's not fair to judge. But I thought it was interesting. I ended up in the Euclid system, which is literally like the next city over from me.
You wait, the Euclid Galaxy?
Yeah.
That's where I am.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not kidding. Like, I started off in that galaxy.
We should meet up.
Oh my god. That's okay,
yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, I started actually
Yes,
I named one of the systems in the galaxy if you could find it. I named it myself, obviously.
Oh, well, there we go. I'll take a look. But yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting, because that's like, I'm pretty much almost in Euclid, as it is. So it was just kind of cool to be put in the Euclid system to start.
Yeah.
It's a better system than it is a neighborhood, though. So
I played it for like 10 hours so far.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't done much. Like, I've been on the same planet, and I'm at like 85% of finding stuff on that planet. And then I went to another one that's pretty close by. I don't think I was as lucky as you, Eric, because I had to find, like I said, one particular element, which there was like none in that planet, to fix my ship to be able to leave. So I had to like find stuff to sell, till I was able to get 200 iridium, and then I could leave, and that was just finally yesterday. But I can see people getting tired of it and bored of it.
Yeah.
Oh, the review that I saw on Steam was somebody asking for the refund, and they said, no thanks. If I want something to fall asleep to, I already have Netflix.
Oh. I mean, that's what I like about the game, though. It's like really relaxing at the same time. Like,
Until the sentry bots shoot you.
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
Well,
Like,
don't
They're-
destroy stuff.
or those,
like-
or sometimes animals,
what?
or like, can go
There's
after
just
you.
crabs.
I don't like that.
Like,
I don't like those.
I was
only
literally
crabs
just-
have attacked me.
Yeah,
I
they're
got
like
attacked-
spider crabs.
I got attacked on the first planet I was at, where I started by the stupid sentry. I was just shooting. I was just getting carbon, like blowing up
Yeah,
little
like-
pumpkins, and they're just like, "Stop that!" And then I shot the sentry, and then I ran away.
Well,
And
yeah.
then none of them. Yeah, I blew it up. No more came after me. I didn't know.
That's
I had
good.
read they were supposed to like leave the planet.
No, you don't have to leave the planet.
No.
Yeah, I didn't, and they ended up leaving me alone after that. But I was just blowing up pumpkins, and they started shooting me.
They don't. Yeah, they'll. I still don't understand what they respond to besides taking things from animals or murdering, like genocidal, like murder of animals. But
Right.
Ooh,
I hadn't even
I-
seen an animal at that point.
Oh, I broke into a manufacturing plant, and
Oh, yeah.
that's the only
They
time
don't
they
like
ever
that.
attacked me. Like, they've never attacked me for, like, I'm pretty sure I've shot a couple of, like, animals, and they're just like, whatever. It's like, okay.
I think
But
the
I was
most
lucky. Yeah.
the most frustrating part for me so far has been the space pirates, because
I've
your
never
starting
had
ship has like no weapons,
Mhm.
and then I bought this awesome ship, but it's also a cargo ship, so it's very slow, and like I'm just getting destroyed every time I come across pirates.
Wait, can
I
you
have
build
not
a
run
fleet?
into any yet.
I don't know.
Can you hire like a bodyguard?
Maybe.
I know I've seen playing where like the later ships you get are like
Mhm.
really fast and have high powered weapons. So like he destroyed a bunch of like pirates in one pretty quick moment. But
That's awesome.
like I warped into a system and I was immediately greeted by like 13, like a little counter bomb, 13 pirates,
Oh my god.
and I just died immediately. I was
That sucks.
That does suck. I would be pretty pissed.
Yeah. Say,
Yeah,
I was
I'm
so
not even there
afraid.
yet.
Yeah, I was so afraid I was gonna end up on like an
Connor.
ice planet with like nothing on it. Like that would be my first one. But I got a really nice, lush forest planet with purple grass and like kind of looked like the Dothraki Sea, and like lots of like huge amounts of gold, tons of like great elements and stuff, and like really nice animals. And maybe there's one predator on the entire planet. It was so weird. And I 100% complete that one too. I spent like a
Nice.
day on it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure how to 100% it, because there's a million locations in the
Yeah.
one planet that I'm at. I've been to like 100 of them, and I'm at 85%. So I don't know which specific location I have to find to get the last 15%.
if there's water, you have to go. There's usually like
Oh,
fish.
underneath, right?
Yeah, and like there's stuff you might not be able to get.
Mhm.
When you get a grenade launcher, you can actually blow holes through the ground into caves. There might be stuff.
Oh,
down
I just
there
got
too.
that.
Ooh.
Really? I didn't even know you could do.
Yeah, you
any of
can.
that
You can.
stuff.
Every planet you can dig through the ground with the grenade launcher.
Really?
Yep.
And find more stuff.
Yeah, and like there's a bunch. My biggest gripe about the game, which you as you're finding out these things, is like there's no like information. Like I'm all for like games being like challenging and like you know a learning curve, but like this
Yeah.
one is like you start the game and there's no log, there's no information.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that you could climb mountains with your jetpack until the developer Sean Murray put out a tweet about it.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of like. Yeah, you're right. It is a difficult game just because it doesn't tell you anything, but I kind of like that at the same time because you get to kind of create your own story with it in a way.
Yeah.
You kind of you play the way you want.
Well, there's things like the inventory management, like when you're putting upgrades, they actually, if you have similar upgrades next to each other in your pack, they work better, and they don't
cool.
tell you that. So
Huh.
like you wouldn't know
Yeah,
until
that's
you look at it,
frustrating.
and there's like a green box around the pieces if they're next to each other.
Yeah.
My complaint is the inventory system, because I keep running out of room for stuff, and I don't want to throw anything away. I want to sell it, but because I couldn't leave the planet, finding somebody to sell it was like a miracle. Like
Did you-
finding any kind of ships.
You
Yeah.
teleported to your ship.
I didn't know you could do that.
Well, my
Yeah.
ship's already filled up though.
Mine too.
How do you teleport?
You
With
can
like
also-
all four.
You hold triangle and it sends it to your ship if you're close to it.
Yeah, no, I've
Oh.
done that, but my ship is all filled up.
Yeah, then my
Well,
ship got full.
That
too.
comes with getting better ships,
Right.
And if you find a trading post on your planet, which there's beacons that'll tell you where they are, then you can go there and sell everything and go back out. And like the worrying about fuel is irrelevant because plutonium, which is I think the only element that's on every planet, you can just use for fuel.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah.
I
No,
guess-
I knew you could teleport your items. I didn't know you could teleport. No, I thought you meant that you could teleport yourself to the ship
Oh,
because
no.
that would have been
Oh.
a huge time saver.
you can
That'd
call
be
your
nice.
ship if you find a base or a landing pad.
Yeah. But you need to like
I
have a
haven't been
chip,
there
bypass chip too.
Yeah, which
Oh, I
is like
finally got 2 of those.
10 iron and 10 plutonium to build.
Yeah, you can make them. They're pretty simple. I can't find, like, I can't find things that I wanted to find. Like, I spent over an hour, like, with a bunch of gold in my inventory, trying to find a trading outpost that I had found earlier, and I'm like, I have no idea where it is. Like, I walked around, like,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, at the same time, it's kind of mind-blowing to me that, like, I can walk in this one tiny, tiny part of this area, and it feels bigger than, like, any game I've played. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had a feeling like that too because I finally found somebody that I could trade stuff with and maybe buy a ship. Although I didn't have enough money to. But the first time that I ran into an alien, I guess it was the Gek. That was kind of mind blowing because I didn't know anything about the game. I didn't know that you could run into other species. So it kind of felt like Mass Effect for a moment.
Yeah.
So I ran into this guy. I'm like, giving him a lot of credits, and he's giving me a lot of like new words and stuff. And I keep I stayed at that spot for a while. Like I would go to the little question marks to find more places, but I would keep coming back to this guy because like that's the only other not person, but like the only other I guess person on this planet. And I kind of felt attached to him because there was nobody else. So at some point, I went too far off, and then I couldn't find him again. Like I couldn't find that location, and I felt kind of sad because it's like I got attached to that guy, and then eventually I found somebody else who did the same thing, but it wasn't the same. It wasn't that guy. It was like a different Gek person, and which is, I guess, it was kind of neat too, because I mean, if you go to a planet, you're not gonna run into the same person, especially if you can't really talk to them and understand them. But are there any more species? Because
yeah, there's, and like I only just found about it while we were talking, scrolling through my Facebook. There's at least 2 more that I haven't seen, which I don't know if they're different from each galaxy or closer to the center you find more. Which just means this game is like massive, like that there's this many creatures, and like
because people are just finding out.
My hint to a third creature was I found like a reference to a lizard people, and I hadn't seen those yet. So
wait a minute. So you haven't seen the Gek that I'm talking to in my game?
I think the Gek are like, I thought the Gek were kind of like the Groks in Spore, were like, they're closer to the center of the universe, but they're kind of like this ancient alien race that like may or may not be around as well. Like I don't know, like it's similar. Like I felt like it was like a mixture of Prothean and Spore. It's weird.
In my game, like the Gek and the Korvax, I think the one that looked like the Daft Punk musicians.
I've never seen those.
Me neither.
Those are the main species that are next to me right now, so I'm excited to find more. That also means I have to like start over, like learning languages, and I've already like learned 50 words for Gek people. So
yeah.
Wait, can you use that language to talk to the aliens that you're running into?
So what it is they'll say things, and you can. Sometimes they'll give you questions, or you'll need to help them a certain way, and they'll say it. But if you don't know the words, you'll do something wrong. Like. The first Gek I met, apparently, I wasn't supposed to do this. I patted him on the head, and he was kind of mad about that.
Don't do that.
No. I saw that one. I think I like apologized, and I was just like, I'm sorry, and he gave me money, and I was like, yeah.
I met one.
That's really cool.
He taught me how to say interloper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
That's really cool though. That I thought everybody had the same kind of experience at the beginning.
No, it's completely different.
The only thing that's the same is finding those parts, I guess, or the schematics. But
Right, to fix your
even
ship.
the creatures you find that give it to you and the way you find it is different.
Wait, what did your guys' creatures look like then? I'm curious.
I had the
I can't-
Gek, which are like the short bird people, and the Korvax. So
I had an alien-looking guy. It's kind of chubby.
Wait, who do you have, Evan?
I was kind of like a chubby, definitely looked like an alien, fat face.
Was he a bird?
they have
No, he wasn't a bird. He was.
they
He
have
was
beaks.
definitely. He looked like he was out of Star Wars.
Nice.
Maybe you have a different race.
Maybe.
Yeah.
If I go back,
This is so
I'll
cool.
find him and take a picture. He was just
nice.
chilling,
I thought,
and there was a gun I could have bought, but I'm broke.
Oh.
Oh yeah,
blows.
you get better guns if you follow what is it, Nada and Polo.
Mm-hmm.
If you follow their path, every time you stop it, like they appear in these bases, and you'll get a chance for a new gun. So
Nice.
they're usually more
Interesting.
high powered than regular ones.
The aliens that I run into are little like reptile people,
Aw.
and I thought they were the Gek. That's what I assumed this whole time, but maybe
didn't
Gek
know,
is just yeah.
I don't know. Like, I'm so confused by it because, like, I don't know which ones these are because it says, like, they're, like, clients of, like, Gek or whatever, or they're, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, they're, like, work for the Gek, but they're not the Gek? I have no idea. I have no
Well,
clue.
the what was that?
Oh, I mean, a little slightly off topic, but it just popped into my head. Apparently, all of Reddit is trying to find a snake that's planet-sized that's somewhere
Oh,
in No Man's Sky.
it was in one of the trailers, the launch
Yeah.
trailers. They showed up like a planet-sized snake. So
Yeah, so people are trying to hunt it down.
Yeah,
I'd stay away from that.
Sean Murray talked about it, kind of, and all of his posts have been pretty vague. Which I don't know if he's doing it because it's true or because he's not sure what to say. But he said it's very rare to come across large creatures like that, so people are still searching, like what you saw, I guess. But I haven't seen anything. I mean, the closest I saw was like giant flying like worms.
Ooh.
That was about it.
I saw
They
giant
were-
pigs that were walking on two
Nice.
legs. They're huge.
I think.
So which alien species do you have, Laura?
I don't know. They're like big. They're not big, but they're like short, fat, and like have beaks, kind of like metal
that's
beaks.
That's the Gek, I think. Is
that the Gek?
I'm pretty sure, and like all their eyes are different. They're all procedurally generated as well. So like some have 4 eyes, some have 2, some have like goggles on.
Yeah, maybe they are. I don't know, because I've been learning all the Gek words, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're
I
probably
learned an
with it.
Atlas word too. I don't know where that came
Yeah,
from.
I learned one of those. That's interesting. I need to. I'm following the Atlas storyline, so I'm trying to learn more about that.
Yeah, I haven't done anything. I think I'm just gonna run around a bunch of planets and just kind of do whatever, and then eventually try to do the vague storyline that they've got set up.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had a storyline set up.
It's not even a story. It's like past. So there's, I guess, the route that Laura is going, where you're just an explorer, and you just kind of do what you want. Then there's a path that follows Nada and Polo, which is the Atlas path.
Yep.
And then there's a path to get to the center of the universe, and that one you'll go probably through like black holes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's several different ways to play it, so I guess there's like whatever way you want to play video games, it kind of like matches it.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
So a lot of people are disappointed, right? A lot of people are trying to get a refund, like that comment that I read. But like I said, I can see why a lot of people would just not have any fun with this, because there's not.
I think
there's a lot to explore, but like it's all basically the same, right? You explore and then and then you fly to another planet,
Yeah,
and then you
and
do it again.
there's variances with every system, and then there's anomalies that happen. But I think the problem that you're seeing with like all these like bad reviews or bad press is that like this is essentially an indie game. Like the people that made this game, it's like 12 people, and they were working out of one room when their past studio was flooded. Sean sold his house to pay for this game.
Yeah.
Like, because it's being published by Sony and because it's been pushed at the last few E3s, like, people are expecting almost like Call of Duty. Because the trailer showed, like, space combat and shooting, but, like, it's not that kind of game. It's
Right.
Yeah.
They were going to cancel this, too.
Oh my god.
Yeah, when their studio got flooded, they were going to cancel.
Yeah, and I know he said that the only reason they didn't cancel it because they already had shown it at the VGX show. They showed the trailer for the first time, and if it wasn't for that, they would have canceled it.
I'm glad they didn't. But you're right. I think it's gonna be like there's gonna be a very hardcore following for it. I think it's gonna be one of those games that like it's a survival game. That it's in essence it's just a survival game. But
yeah, that's what I was not expecting. That
that's exactly what I was
fascinated
expecting.
by it.
It is very interesting. I'll let you know my opinion once I play for like a legitimate amount of time. But like I said, it's better than I thought. I don't know how people thought it was going to be something else. Like I knew very little about the game, but I knew what it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know what you were getting into, that's kind of your own fault.
Yeah.
I think people just kind of expected a lot of it. They just kind of assumed a lot of things that they never said were going to happen.
Right.
Because you look at a game like that, your mind just kind of starts going all over the place, right? And it's like you get a lot of cool ideas that you think are going to be in the game.
Even the stuff.
It was the hype that killed it. Yeah.
When I watched, the hype definitely hurts. But like even when I watched, it was like a year ago. They were on Colbert's show, and they pretty much explained exactly what the game is going to be, and it is exactly what they were explaining on the show a year ago.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and I don't even watch TV, and I somehow saw that. So
on YouTube.
It's
YouTube. But I mean, if people are complaining about the stuff that Paul has said with some of the reviews, at this point, it's their fault. Now, especially in reviews, they got to be.
I don't even think it's possible to review this game.
I don't think so either.
It's a unique experience. It's hard to. So
all the stuff that I've seen has been, and I haven't looked recently, but right around when it came out, all the stuff I saw was review in progress reviews.
Yeah, well, there were still sites that were putting out reviews like the day it came out. I'm like, you just stayed up overnight and played it. You can't review this.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Well, you were reviewing it, Laura. So what do you? I mean, I know you like it.
Yeah.
Objectively, what do you think?
I guess objectively, I can absolutely see how people can get easily bored with it. It can get repetitive. Like I've gotten frustrated with it just being like, oh my god, I have to go all the way over there to do this, and like, I can see it, but at the same time, like, I have loved every second of it. So,
yeah.
I mean, I want to give it a lot more hours before, like, a few more days before I actually, like, attempt to write a review on it, because you guys are right, like, it's a tough game to review, just because it's so different than anything we've ever seen, and I think I want to highlight that, too, and just highlight, hopefully, that it opens the doors to other things, too, and to kind of, create other games that can be similar in a way, but I'm hopefully not as expansive, because I don't know if we can take that, but, it's just, it's a unique game, and I think it's almost a once-in-a-lifetime one, that, just the idea of it is just amazing.
There's been planet-generating games before, but nothing to this scale, and nothing, like, the amount of thought put into each planet, like, and it's not even being designed by a person, it's being designed by a program that they wrote, where the creatures fit into that, like, ecosystem, the plants that spawn there, Like,
Mm-hmm.
for that amount of thought to go into a game is just unfathomable. Like,
I know. Just
it's
imagine
crazy.
applying that to like the Mass Effect games and like stuff like that, or like any of those places that were creating like whole worlds, and like it's crazy. And now that someone has figured out how to do it in a way, like I'm just excited to see how this game is going to push other games forward.
If it pushes other games forward.
Yeah, if it
gotta
pushes it forward.
It's got to succeed first.
well, as far as I know, it's already made a good amount of money, sales-wise.
Yeah, but I was just going to say my question to that would be, is it worth taking the risk for somebody else to make a game similar?
Yeah. That's what I think is...
Yeah.
It might not happen again because...
Right.
Just the amount of like flack and that the developers are getting. I mean, again, when I said this is an indie game, some people don't realize that, and they see PlayStation on the box and they assume that it's like a team of like 500 people like working on this. It's like they just hired a Q&A team that's more in size than their actual staff.
Yeah.
No, it was I heard recently that Sean Murray had an AMA out because I was trying to figure out when the game was being released on PC and the Pacific time. It was really cute. He was talking about how he's like, this breaks my heart, but he was so afraid of people hating this game because he put his heart and his soul into this, and like, I mean, he sold, like you said, he sold his house and all that, but like, I don't know. I think it shows. I think it really does. All the hard work does show, and I think people will appreciate at least that.
Yeah, and you should, if you guys ever get a chance, definitely look into the history of like the studio in this game. Like, the only other game they made is Joe Danger, which is like a stunt bike game. And they only made that game to fund No Man's Sky. That was and they all quit their jobs, and like Sean Murray used to work at EA, and he couldn't work in that kind of like environment. So he, so like I said, he sold his house. He convinced all his friends to quit their jobs, and they worked towards this.
Oh my god, that must have been terrifying.
I'm glad I don't have to review something like this because I can't think of a score.
Even if I end up not liking it, like over in the long run, I still appreciate what they try to do. And like you said, Laura, I could just see something, like even a tiny fraction of this in a Mass Effect game would be phenomenal.
I know, right?
Imagine that. Imagine if you had like the base Mass Effect game, but then the side quest would be this game. Like if you could do that when you're not playing the main Mass Effect story, I think that together would be pretty.
Yeah. So again, like it'll open the doors.
Yeah. If they could figure out how to like procedurally generate like cities,
that's something I am very much missing in this game, and I don't know if you come across it later. Is there's no civilizations.
Yeah.
Not every planet has to be at the lowest like start of evolution where there's just animals and then creatures. So there's got to be some like
like
smarter beings out there.
The planet I started on, where I ran into the alien guy, he was like the only alien guy on the planet. It was like me and him.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean,
that'd be.
I hope that they like can. I feel like this is another sort of game that they can like build upon it too. Like maybe in the future, like maybe they'll be able to add cities and civilization. Like that would be. I mean, I don't know though.
They already said that they're gonna do whatever content comes out for this game will be free, and
awesome.
They're gonna do patches and DLC. Well, technically not DLC, but just kind of building on the game for the fans. And I already know they said they're going to be working towards base building, which I don't know how that'll work because you're moving so much.
Yeah.
But
still, that's just like, I mean, it's an entire universe that they can work on for like ever.
Yeah.
Like literally forever.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I'm having a lot of fun with it, but I can definitely understand why so many people extremely disappointed by it.
Yeah.
I just when I sit down to start it, I get really excited to play it for like the next 4 or 5 hours, and doing the same thing over and over. But it's fun. Like, to me, it's fun.
So far, it's been enjoyable, and yeah.
I think that's the consensus a lot of the time too. Is like from what I understand, a lot of people like love it at first, and it is enjoyable at first, but it does get repetitive for some.
But then, if you think about it, if you put 30 hours into the game and then you're like, oh, this is kind of repetitive, you essentially do that with just about every game you play, ever.
Yeah, but I mean, Eric would have the best take on this, because he's played it the most of us.
Yeah.
He's played it for over 30 hours.
Well, I will say that I've started to stop seeing everything on every planet, because now I'm looking for something either new or just some more progression in the game. So... because I know that there's so much to get to the center or to find more of these Atlas posts, like, I'm working towards those. But it just comes down to playstyle. Like, Laura is playing the Explorer route, so she's finding everything, and I'm looking for more validation for my character moving through these planets, so I'm trying to break down this story a little more that they have, so...
Yeah.
That's something about this game that is so amazing, is that everyone is going to have a different experience playing it.
Yeah.
I thought of this too recently, but I'm just assuming that we're human, right? We're playing as a human character.
They don't say. Actually, there were some pictures that came out of content that's in the game, like hidden in the code.
Really?
And your explorer looks like an old white guy, but he's riding he's riding a unicycle.
Okay.
And they didn't say what the unicycle's for, if it's like it's an actual wheel that you move on for like mobility, or if it's just part of the graphics.
It's just like a frog on top of a unicycle.
There's also a tiny monkey with a hat on. Somewhere there's a monkey in this game.
All right. Let's. Do we have anything more to say so we can?
I just want to say that the soundtrack is amazing.
Yeah.
It's very Mass Effect-ish.
If you have a chance, go and listen to the whole soundtrack by was it 65 Days of Static? It is amazing. I'll be buying the vinyl soon.
Nice.
And the way they use it too, where it's between travel or combat, like it's not a typical like grand adventure game like sound. It's very hipster-esque, which I enjoy.
Wait, they're self-described as they're described as an electronic post math rock band. I love that. A math rock band.
Math rock band. All right.
Awesome.
Yo, I mean, I'm gonna be playing the soundtrack in the background anyway, so
good.
Still check it out. All right, are we done? Can we move on to question of the week?
I think we can move on.
I guess.
Sure.
I gotta go soon.
Okay.
All right, Laura, you were gonna go over those.
Yeah. Yes, I have it right now. All right. So, what we have for question of the week is, what's your favorite multiplayer game experience? All right, so we have Donovan. He says, the utter ridiculousness that is choosing all random on Smash Bros. And everyone getting Kirby. That sounds terrible. Melissa says, Monster Hunter. I don't think I've played that on multiplayer or played it at all.
Neither.
No? Have you guys played?
I have played it. It's not my favorite, but the people who love it.
Yeah, that's good. Good.
Yeah. It's not a bad game.
Okay.
Yeah. Continue. Sorry.
Continuing, we have Kelsey. Kelsey says the mini games in Pokemon Stadium, and that has got a few responses as well, so I think that one's a popular response. Carl says SOCOM 2 on PS2, best multiplayer game to date. Evan, you said Battlefield Bad Company 2. Janet says Castle Crashers. That one's so fun. I played it.
I want to add. Sorry. Yeah. I just want to add Red Faction 2. I forgot that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
On PS2.
Yes.
That was on our list of shooters you may have forgot about.
Yes, it was. And I did forget about it, but I remembered.
Yeah. And then I forgot it since reading that list.
Oh no.
But it's a great game. I love it.
It is. It is.
I have to try it out. All right.
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So after Jan, it was Castle Crashers. There was Jessica, making my brother cry when we were kids playing Smash on GameCube. Oh, that's adorable. That's hilarious. And then Raphael with any co-op mode. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, I guess any co-op on any game.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Co-op does make a lot of multiplayer games better.
Yeah, it does. It's super fun.
Eric, what was yours?
Yeah.
I didn't write one down, but I would say probably Rainbow Six Vegas.
Oh, nice.
Just because I played that local multiplayer, and being able to like coordinate, like jumping through the windows and taking out a room of enemies after scouting out was just so exciting and unique. At least back then on the early 360, and yeah.
Nice.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Evan. No, Eric. You're picking the new question now. I don't know if you forgot, but what's your question?
I think we'll go with what's your favorite sci-fi game? Since we've been talking about No Man's Sky so much, and it might be reaching into my favorite, almost beating out Mass Effect. So,
God.
What's yours, Eric?
The Mass Effect universe, like the first one specifically, Mass Effect 1, I thought was my favorite sci-fi game.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine is easy too. Mine is Mass Effect 2, because mine, Mass Effect 2 is, it's a lot better than the first. I think it's a lot more memorable than the third.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a cool, suicide mission where most of the game is just you gathering people and meeting people, and it's like you get to go on their adventures, and like you get to explore the characters of all the teammates that you find.
Yeah,
that's what I love about it. It's like there's really no main story. It's all about like the character stories, and then it's like one or two things that happen in the main game, and that's it.
Yeah.
So you get really attached to them, and then by the end of the game, if anybody dies, like you feel really. Yeah, like it's
zero
deaths.
That
happens.
Yeah, me too. Every time 0 deaths. I can't handle it. There is this.
I didn't cheat or look at any guides. So if it happened, it happened. I lost Jacob, who I didn't care about. Whatever.
I think I got lucky on mine.
Yeah. Oh, you probably played it really well.
Did anyone ever let their whole team die?
No, that I kind of want to try that just in my next run. Was it terrible?
What I did was I saved for all the upgrades right before, so I just wanted to see what would happen, and like flying in, at least half your team dies immediately.
Yeah, I've read that.
And then when you get there, like someone dies running out the door, and then like, it was so bad. No, like I think Joker was the only one who survived.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen the YouTube video. It's really funny because you just see Joker and like he's crying, and there's like 12 like caskets like next to him. So he's the only one left alive.
Yeah, that was also confusing. Like, how did they get the bodies for like?
I don't know.
Maybe they're empty caskets.
Like they went through the third. Like that makes no sense. Because no one comes back from the Omega Relay, except for Shepard. Yeah, but.
Oh yeah. All right, Evan and Laura, what's your choices?
Yes, mine is obviously Mass Effect as well, but I have a very unpopular opinion, and I like the third the most, just because like I liked the overall story of the Reapers, and I liked, the ending wasn't the greatest, but I also really liked the DLC that was in it. I think that's what really pushed the game for me. It sucks I had to like give all the that it wasn't added on, but. I don't know. I liked it. I liked that it was a tie to a tie-in to all those relationships that you had like cultivated through all of the games, and I think it was sad but really touching at the same time with a lot of the characters.
Yeah, I didn't mind the ending of Mass Effect 3.
Yeah,
I didn't get what people hated it, because I guess people were expecting like a final scene of Shepard, I don't know, like giving a high five to the team, but like the entire series, like, I mean, well, I mean, the whole game 3 that was the end. Like that whole
Yeah.
everything that led up to like that final moment. That was the end of the game. So I don't know what else they wanted.
Mhm.
I think
Maybe
it
they
was-
had like a vision in mind that they didn't see. I don't
It
know.
wasn't
Maybe.
the definitive ending for me. It was the fact that the entire like series, which was such like a unique experience for that time because all your choices carried over, and
Yeah.
to have it all come down to 3, like
Yeah.
that was
I-
that was what frustrated me.
Yeah, I think that I'm on the same side as that. As like, I think what frustrated me the most is I worked really hard to get like Tali and the Geth to like be friends, and like what I mean, for not basically like really like it didn't feel like that really like the choices I had done during that game kind of mattered in a certain way. Like some of the things didn't matter, but I'm excited for Andromeda
like,
to come out though.
Yeah, and it's basically retconning the whole series.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
All right.
Well,
Evan, is it Mass Effect as well?
It's not Mass Effect.
Pokemon.
It's not Pokemon's not sci-fi.
It can be argued.
Come on, man. I do like the elusive man in Mass Effect. I just want to say he was definitely my favorite character by far.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
I really sympathize with him. Hi, Gunner. No, I think he was just misguided. No, I would have to go with Star Ocean. The concept is really cool. Any of them? Haha. Just the concept, like that there's this huge organization, and any underdeveloped planet you can't really have contact with. And if you somehow crash land or something on their planet, there are like strict codes that you have to follow in order to protect the planet from developing too quickly. So it's just a cool concept for the whole overarching series. I really like that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Alrighty. That was the question of the week. So, what? Let's close it out. But I need to think of a song. Eric, you're gonna do the honors of picking a closing song on the spot. Because you're the guest, so you get to.
Before we get to that, I did want to mention that the Dota 2 finals or grand tournament this weekend, which I don't play, but I was at an event watching some of it. First place won $9.1 million.
Holy crap!
What?
Holy crap!
And this was an entire event hosted by Valve.
Ridiculous.
Wow.
Ridiculous.
That's insane. Can that be my life?
Yeah, what am I doing? Yeah, that's...
I chose the wrong path.
Yeah,
I need to rethink
seriously.
my life choices.
Yeah.
Apparently, Gabe walked out in sandals at the opening ceremony, which is pretty awesome.
Of course he did.
So, Eric, what should we close it out with?
I'm looking at I'll go with Supermoon from 65 Days of Static because we're all playing No Man's Sky.
Supermoon. Okay, sweet. All right, so we'll be back next week. Thank you, Eric, for joining.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
All right. See ya.
Bye.